On today's MultiVersus News MashUp, Xbox players get a much-needed fix, recent player numbers don't look very promising for the game's future, and Player First Games and DC collaborate on a new multiverse project. That and more. First up, let's talk about the much-needed patch that was just released for MultiVersus. Patch 1.02 released to players this week, and it has much-needed fixes and adjustments for the game. From the official patch notes, Player First Games said, "Hello MVPs, thanks for your continued feedback on Discord, Reddit, and the rest of our social channels. We've been paying close attention to all your spirited discussions and are working hard to improve a number of high-priority issues with MultiVersus. Our top priority for this patch is integrated additional fixes for Xbox performance issues and desyncing in matches. Here are some highlights from the full breakdown of changes. As far as bug fixes go, they address more issues impacting performance on the Xbox X and S, they fixed 2 issues causing matches to desync, and they fixed an issue where parrying an attack would not always put the victim into parry stun. As far as character-specific changes go, here are some of the ones that I wanted to highlight. For Gizmo, Gizmo's maneuverability and size make him incredibly difficult to pin down. His movement combined with his incredibly strong zoning game make it nearly impossible for some characters to ever get the edge against him. These changes should help bring Gizmo's evasiveness more in line with the cast so it's easier for other characters to get up close and punish. For Harley Quinn, Harley's slide and up attack were granting her very easy combos for very little risk. These changes should keep her combo game intact while making slide up and attack feel less do-everything buttons. For Iron Giant play was dominated by his easy-to-input infinites and a few early kill setups. We're hoping that removing his most egregious setups will make him feel more like the rest of the cast, and we feel good about letting players play with him again. For Shaggy, they have reverted the Shaggy air neutral attack so that it can be cancelled earlier on hit, but it did not get into this patch, so this change will be coming in a patch in the very near future. As far as the Joker goes, they say that they are aware of the Joker's strength and are assessing ways to bring him more in line with the current cast of fighters. These balance changes will be introduced into an upcoming patch. For Velma, they are aware of some early feel issues with Velma following the initial launch, and these are the start of some of the planned adjustments we have for her, and we'll have more to share in the coming weeks. And finally, for Wonder Woman, they are aware of Wonder Woman's strengths and are assessing ways to bring her more in line with the current cast of fighters. These balance changes will be introduced in an upcoming patch. I'll make sure to link the full patch notes in the description down below. Next up, are players abandoning MultiVersus? According to a Dexerto article, MultiVersus started off with more than 100,000 concurrent players, but it's been rapidly falling off just 2 weeks after its launch. As you can see from 2 Steam charts, one from 4chan and one from Dexerto, you can obviously see that while the game's rebooted launch happened, it started off strong and has been tailing off ever since. Even with recent numbers, while it peaked at 153,000 players, it's barely hitting less than 10,000 right now, which is not good. Many on 4chan had comments as to why this might be happening. So one user said, all they had to do was fix the beta issues. That's probably a given. Another person said, MultiVersus' all-time peak was when the beta launched. The actual launch didn't even hit that peak, and it has been slowly bleeding players since. Sure, updates will see an uptick in players again, but it's still going to show a downward trend with each update peak failing to reach the previous. Beta was a peak of roughly 150,000 players. 1.0 launched was above 100,000 players. The next update probably won't even crack 70,000 players. Hell, it'll probably be lucky to even come close to it. I'd wager the update after that will only peak around 20,000 by then. The execs at Warner Bros. Games aren't going to wait around to see it flop at a third update, and they'll probably pull the plug. The writing is on the wall, the game is suffering a slow but obvious death. In the Dexerto article, many players also gave their input about why the game might be failing. Many players think in-game monetization is the culprit for the downfall, calling the game's transactions predatory, saying the game is extremely grindy for very minimal rewards. A player commented, if they aren't going to make every base variant fighter free from the start, they only need to give people challenges that involve whichever fighters they make free for that week. 10 experience points for a win is also a slap in the face. Another said, they get blinded by thinking they can instantly earn that Fortnite and Genshin money while putting in less than a single fraction of the effort of those games. MultiVersus is not good enough to justify the amount of time-gated content and insane grind. Enough said. The article also continues with, some players are unhappy with PvE, with one commenting, constantly lagged out trying to co-op in the PvE mode. It's not worth the time and investment. It's a joke, they expect anyone to drop actual dollars on this tire fire. I still love the gameplay, it's everything in between the matches that's the problem. I'll be damned if I pay for anything else in the state the game's in, another player stated. So are you still playing MultiVersus? If so, why? And if not, why? Moving on, while MultiVersus might be losing players, it's actually going to be getting new content. As reported by comicbook.com, DC has announced a new comic book titled MultiVersus Collision Detected, a tie-in comic to Player First Games and Warner Bros. Games' hit platform Gamer. Written by Brian Q. Miller with art by John Somariva, Multiverse Collision Detected will be a 6-issue comic that brings the DC Universe and the many worlds of multiverses together, with Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman meeting Bugs Bunny while investigating the Star Child and the Witch. This isn't the first time that DC has released a tie-in comic to a video game, having collaborated with Epic Games on Batman Fortnite Zero Point back in 2021. The official description for MultiVersus Collision Detected reads, Bruce Wayne, Diana Prince, and Clark Kent each wake in a cold sweat, troubled by strange dreams that they've had about the Rabbit, the Star Child, and the Witch. Their investigation into these enigmatic visions brings them to unexpected locals and unusual characters, but none more unusual than the mysterious rabbit from their dreams as they find themselves face to face with the one and only Bugs Bunny. What the heck is going on here? And who in the name of multiverses are the Star Child and the Witch? The hit video game spills from your screen into the DCU, and it's bringing a whole lot of friends with some of your favorite universes with it. Covers for MultiVersus Collision Detected have already been revealed, and the very first issue goes on sale September 18th. And finally, should MultiVersus add more Batman villains? Game Rant thinks so. According to Game Rant, for Season 1, appropriately titled Puns and Villainy, there appears to be an emphasis on villains throughout the Battle Pass, with iconic figures like the Joker and Harley Quinn taking center stage. It's obvious that Warner Bros. Should focus on DC villains for future seasons. Since 1934, DC superheroes and villains have held a constant appeal for audiences, despite the superhero fatigue that has plagued the genre in recent years. In particular, Batman-related personas should be a goldmine for MultiVersus. While iconic villains like the Clown Prince and the Princess of Crime have already joined the fight, MultiVersus' roster has room for even more unique antagonists from Batman's vast rogue gallery. This could include characters like Bane, which could be a tank, Catwoman as an assassin, Clayface as a mage, Deathstroke as a bruiser, Killer Croc as a tank, Mr. Freeze as a mage, a ranged character, and the Red Hood as an assassin. The article continues by saying furthermore that Batman villains offer a treasure trove of unique abilities that have the potential to shift Multiverse's current meta. For instance, characters like Mr. Freeze could wield devastating ice attacks and freeze techniques. Similarly, Deathstroke's Godkiller swords would undoubtedly win over fans of the Mercenary, whereas a back-breaking maneuver with Bane could quickly become a fan favorite. It finishes with, notably characters who fall into the gray area between villains and heroes could prove to be some of the most intriguing additions to Multiverse's ever-expanding roster. Catwoman and Red Hood, for example, offer intriguing possibilities with their anti-hero characteristics. Red Hood's history as Robin, his brutal encounter with the Joker, and his embrace of the lethal force make him a fascinating foil to Batman, unlike his mentor, who adheres to a strict no-kill rule and relies on non-lethal tactics. Red Hood becomes a thought-provoking counterpoint, highlighting the complexities of their shared vision. Do you want to see more Batman villains and anti-heroes added to MultiVersus? If so, are you happy with Game Rant's list? Or what other Batman rogues would you like to see in the game? And that's it for today's MultiVersus News Mashup. Let me know what you think about all the topics that I covered today. Are you excited to see that a new comic tie-in is coming from MultiVersus and DC? Are you one of the ones that have abandoned MultiVersus? If so, why? And if you're an Xbox user, are you finally happy to get your patch that hopefully fixes your issues? Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you want more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.